I'm Michael Landis, and welcome to Cheese in Depth. And we're going to be having laborless, I would like to think, cheese boards and a cocktail. So as Labor Day is coming up, it's always fun to be able to put something together, and of course to accompany it with something that would be appropriate for the cheese. And a lot of times when we talk about doing cocktails, it can be challenging because there's so many things that will go into a cocktail that can make it work or make it not work. And so you get to hear from them exactly what they have going on. So let's go ahead around here and get everybody introduced. Let's start with Marieke and Laurie.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, folks. My name is Marieke, and we're here in Thorpe, Wisconsin, where we have a farmstead creamery, where we're trying to aim to make the best Gouda in the whole wide world. So we make a farmstead Gouda here on the farm, where we use our own cow's milk to turn it into this creamy product, which we have in many, many flavors. One of the questions I'm often get asked is, how long have you been a cheesemaker? Well, how long when you started making cheese? Well, I never wanted to be a cheesemaker, I have to be honest. I'm born and raised in Holland, in a tiny little country in Europe, and I was really missing my Gouda that desperately that I thought I'm gonna make it myself. And before I know, I have this awesome team around me here, including Laurie, who sells our Goudas. If she wasn't here, I would claim that I made this beautiful cheese board, but she is here, so I have to give her all the credit of making this awesome cheese board. And we have different flavors today to sample with our awesome Bloody Marys that you came up with.
Yes.
And so again, being here on the farm in Thorpe, Wisconsin, what brought you to Wisconsin is, of course, because Holland is so little, there was not many space to expand, and I grew up on a dairy farm, and we wanted to continue milking cows. So where else can you go than Thorpe? I know there are other states that claim that they have happy cows, but I do have to admit, if those states have happy cows, Wisconsin have extremely happy cows. The climate is very suitable for cows here. And I think that's part of our secret ingredients that we have here is the Wisconsin dairy milk. Our cows are being called Gouda cows. All the cows have a name. And and then when the cows get milked in the morning, that milk goes straight through a pipeline into our cheese fat, where we make it into a Gouda recipe. So we have our cheeses are being aged here on our facility between 50 and 55 Fahrenheit and about 70-75% of humidity in our aging room. So it's a different process, because that's another question that people ask is, what is the difference? Well, first of all, is our curds is a water washed curd. So that means that we drain some of the way, and then we add hot water to it to raise the temperature and wash the cheese curds. So another one is that, so we wash, and we can play the temperatures of the water, how much water we add, how long we wash it. So that's a little bit the difference between one Gouda recipe and the other Gouda recipe. And of course, we use cultures to help us guide in the right direction for our flavor profile. When the curd is ready, I would say I'm a lucky cheesemaker, because I like to feel when the curd is ready. So when the curd is ready, then we start pumping the curd over into a drain table, where we cut 45 blocks out of it. And those 45 blocks, they go into a round cheese mold under the press for 2 hours. So then we have the shape, which is also different than the other traditional cheese shapes. So the reason why we have Gouda in a wheel shape is in the earlier days, when they would transport the cheese from one harbor to the other harbor, we would roll the wheels off the plank instead of walking down. So, so that's the reason why Gouda, you will find it in a round shape. A lot of Gouda, when you think of Gouda, you think of the red wax. Well, we don't do a red wax. They use that more for cheeses that they import from Europe to protect the cheeses during traveling and stopping the aging process. So in our case, we put on a breathable coating that let the cheese breathe and let the moisture go through it. So that is another, I think, important ingredient into our cheeses, that we let the cheese breathe in our aging room. our aging rooms are a little bit different than how cheddar are being aged, where it's not vacuum packed and it has a little bit of warmer temperature and more humid climate around it to age. We use wooden boards to age our cheeses. So with the right protocols in place, we believe that's a very safe way of aging our cheeses. So for the ones that have not visited us here yet in Thorpe, Wisconsin, I really hope that we can say hi sometime and have you over here, snuggle with a cow and cuddle with a calf. In the meanwhile, I do have 5 children, and that's the reason why I'm just here quickly, and I'm gonna leave it over to Laurie.
Yeah.
I have to pick up the kids again. So thank you so much for joining us today, and I hope you have a wonderful time.
So part of the theme for today's event is cocktails and cheese. So what we decided to do today is do Bloody Marys. In Wisconsin, it is now fall, and fall in Wisconsin means football. Football means tailgating parties, which leads me to our Bloody Mary cheese board. So I'm highlighting several different cheeses on this cheese boards. One of the things that we do is not only plain Gouda, but we do 22 different flavored Goudas. So today's cheese board is made up with our pepper cheeses. We have several that, it was really hard to narrow it down. So I have a big selection of cheeses that go with the Bloody Mary. But on my board today, I have our jalapeno. I have our bacon Gouda, because bacon in a Bloody Mary is very good. I have our chipotle Gouda, which has a little bit of a smoked paprika in it as well. And then I also have our, which one is it? Hatch pepper Gouda. Our hatch is in season right now. We use hatch peppers, we use jalapeno, and we also use cumin in this cheese. But to enjoy the cheese, first we have to make our Bloody Mary. And I don't have a traditional Bloody Mary recipe. This is something that my family kind of came up with, and it's something we enjoy. And that's really the cool thing about Bloody Marys, is you can make them any way you want. You can make them with a mix. You can make your own mixes, which I would highly recommend. Or you can buy them already made up. So what we do with our Bloody Marys is first, I salted the rim with celery salt, but you can use other different kosher salts with that. In our family, we prefer the Absolute Papar vodka, and we're going to add a shot of that. We're going to be very generous because it's a Thursday. And then some people would add their pre-made mix. Well, what we do is we actually take the things that we add to our Bloody Mary and add the juices from that. So I'm going to add some of my zesty dill spear juice. It's going to be about a half of shot glass. See how good I am at measuring and pouring and talking. So what we do typically with this is we'll actually take a whole bottle of vodka and pre-make this and let the peppers and pickles marinate to really add some great flavor to that mix. Next, I'm going to take our banana pepper rings, and I'm going to add about a quarter of a shot glass of the banana pepper juice. Really get some of that in there. Add that to my little drink. And then I'm going to do just a little bit of olive juice. So probably just a tablespoon of the olive juice. To top that off, I'm going to use some Worcestershire and do 4 to 5 shakes. I like it, so I'm going to add a little bit more. And grab this. The other fun thing with Bloody Marys is you can use tomato juice, you can use V8 juice. I'm going to use the Clamato. This is a little bit lighter juice. The tomato juice is actually going to be a little bit thicker. So it's kind of like whatever you want the texture to be. Add that. And because I really like the celery salt, I'm just going to add a little bit of celery salt on the top. Oops, that was kind of a lot. And then it's the fun part of the garnishes. So we have our little Bloody Mary, and I'm gonna add my celery stick. I'm gonna add some bacon. I'm gonna add a beef stick. I'm gonna add a pickle. And I have a little olive stick, and to my olive stick, I'm gonna add all kinds of delicious cheese. The chipotle, the jalapeno, and the bacon. Oops, the bacon to finish off my Bloody Mary. So here's my Bloody Mary, here's my cheese. So we can talk a little bit more about our flavored cheeses. Like I mentioned, I think cheese is perfect with a Bloody Mary. I also think that having a chaser of our Wisconsin New Glarus Spotted cow really finishes that off. But you can do pretty much anything on your cheese board to make it delightful. And some of our other flavored cheeses, I have an onion garlic, which I think would be very good. If you use the, I used a jalapeno stuffed olive, but you can also get a garlic stuffed olive if you like it garlicky. You can use a garlicky beef stick, and it would just be perfect. I also think that this cheese would be really good. This is one of Marieka's favorites. This is a black pepper mix. The black pepper mix has pepper, paprika, allspice, onion, lots of different flavors in this cheese. This actually pairs really well with beer, but I think it would be fantastic with the Bloody Mary. The one thing that I like to say about Marieke and her flavored cheeses is there's always a really good balance. The flavor is never going to overpower the cheese. So if you are tasting our jalapeno, you're going to taste the mild heat finish at the end. And it's not going to overpower it. I know there are some pepper cheeses out in the marketplace where you basically lose your taste buds after you try the cheese. That's not going to be our pepper cheeses. The other one that I think has a really nice mild finish is our chipotle. It's actually one of my favorite cheeses. I like to melt this in quesadillas. I like to it's even good in like a scrambled egg or like a type of an omelet. This cheese has a little bit more spice to it, but again, you can always taste the Gouda cheese before the flavor. There's a really nice balance. Any questions about what else is on my board? I added a little bit of a baguette to it because I thought it would be really fun to take a little artichoke spread and top that with a little bit of my pepperoni, and then I'm gonna add the hatch pepper to it. So, and make a little appetizer. So lots of fun. You know, this time of year, we really enjoy our sports, at least we do in our family, but I think that's pretty common across the United States. So hopefully you can watch your favorite team play or enjoy the fall weather with a beautiful Bloody Mary bar.
All right. That was excellent. I really just, you know, I think that Bloody Mary is a meal in itself.
Yeah, it's so fun because, like I said, you can just change it up any way you want. And if you go online, you know, I have a friend that actually will smoke her glass before she makes her Bloody Mary, and that adds a really nice flavor to it as well.
Yeah, we kind of like it a little spicy, so we got some horseradish that we put in there to, you know, give it a little kick to it, and a little hint of Tabasco. So, yeah, Bloody Mary.
Yeah, I can let you in on a secret. Speaking of horseradish, we have in our cheese aging room right now, we have a horseradish Gouda. It's a Gouda that we made for a special project that we were involved in this summer called Farm Tech Days. And we were a partner with Silver Springs Mustard, or a horseradish company. And we took their horseradish and added it to our Gouda, and we like it. And so don't be surprised if you see that out in the marketplace sometime.
Well, Pine River, you know, they do some amazing spreads, and my favorite is their horseradish, and you know, they spread that on top of roast beef sandwich and let it melt a little bit. It's really amazing. It just really adds a nice flavor to it.
Yeah, that would be a great combination.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. All right, well, great, thanks. And I think that it's really interesting to be able to put that, the Bloody Mary mix in there. And I really see how there's so many different flavors that you guys blend that would work so well, especially the bacon. I think that would be really good with it. And so
I think that's one of your favorites, isn't it?
it is.
Yeah. There's a lot of bacon in our bacon Gouda, and of course we use a no nitrate bacon to make our bacon Gouda, and it is made right down the road, that bacon product.
Good. All right. So thank you again, and let's move on to Michele, and go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us what you got there.
Michael, this is Michele Haram. I'm from Cypress Grove Creamery. We're up in Arcata, California, which is not Arcadia, California. It's way up north, about 5 hours north of San Francisco. And I was there last week. I live in Texas, but I was there last week, and it was just the end of summer produce there, and all the gardens are looking just lush and beautiful. At the creamery, we have an edible walkway, which means that we have all kinds of fruit and nut trees that are planted along the property, so that people that work there and people that live in the community can come by and pick nuts and fruit and so on and so forth. So there were people out picking berries when I was there, and I went to a restaurant called Campfire, and they made me a very lovely cocktail called the Forager. And they do seasonal stuff, and they're very creative, and they do a lot of live fire cooking. This cocktail that I'm making today is based very loosely on the Forager, because they make a very beautiful refined cocktail, and I'm making cocktails in pitchers, right? So for the whole family. I think for me, it's not yet football season. It is still end of the summer season. So I was thinking about, how do you have just a really simple spread for your friends and family as Indian summer hits, or as summer is in full blast, and you just don't want to turn on your oven. You want to do something simple and easy. So that's my cocktail, is a blueberry Forager, and it's going to go with my cheese. I guess I'll start with the cocktail, because that'll make it easy to talk about the cheese. Cocktail that I'm doing is really just sort of like making a pitcher of blueberry lemonade, right? So it's not that hard. Again, at Campfire, they make a very refined, creative, beautiful cocktail. This is not that. It's just inspired by that. I pureed some blueberries, a pint of blueberries, and I made a simple syrup with, half sugar, half water. And then I put some thyme, fresh thyme in there, and lime zest to make a lime and thyme simple syrup. And I have some vodka. So I'm just gonna kind of mix it up in this pitcher. Vodka to taste, if you're making this for your children, less vodka, and a little bit of simple syrup. It depends on how sweet your blueberries are, how much simple syrup you're going to want to use. And then you're going to use your blueberry puree and squeeze a little lime in there. And apparently you need to shake this up. Who knew? And then I recommend straining it into a glass. Although if you do have kids around and you're not putting vodka in your drink, blueberries have all those wonderful seeds. And so you always get blueberry seeds in your teeth, and kids think that's hilarious. So anyway, if that's your family jam, you're good to go. So very simple blueberry cocktail. And I cannot match Laurie's wonderful garnish. I just have some blueberries on a sprig of thyme to go right over that for a nice, elegant cocktail. Super summery, delightful, yummy. And again, you can make it fancy by straining it, into a fancy glass, or you can just make it by the pitcher and take it out, take it out to the park. So again, inspired by the summer season, I put together a cheese board of our cheeses. We make goat cheese in Northern California. And so I just like the idea at the end of summer to have summer fruits. I mean, a lot of people use, apples and pears, and there's not very many cheeses that don't go with an apple or pear. That would be great if you have that. But right now we happen to have like Hood River cherries, we have peaches, we have blueberries, berries, all that stuff. So I went with the peaches. I've got a little bit of peach, prosciutto, some Marcona almonds, different kinds of crackers. And this all came together. Michael just watched me do it while we were waiting for y'all to join us. So it was about a 5-minute process. And I have a nice wedge here of Midnight Moon. This is our aged goat Gouda that's made for us in Holland. We can't make it in our plant because we make Humboldt Fog in our plant, and the two really just would not get along well as far when they're trying to age. Here's a trick, simple trick. If you have a wedge of cheese, you can cut it beautifully, of course, and into sticks or into triangles, whatever. And you can also just chunk it up by sticking a knife in it and cutting off little pieces. And then you get a nice little chunk. Easy, simple, still looks great, easy for people to deal with. I also have our Purple Haze, which is our fresh goat cheese with lavender and fennel pollen, which is just a beautiful summer, again, herb and berry kind of cheese. It goes beautifully with honey or balsamic vinegar, or even a little bit of caramel sauce if you're of a mind to, or anything that you would like to put with it. Although it's delicious on its own, you can make a really nice little bite with some Purple Haze and a peach and a little prosciutto. It's all mix or match, right? So I love that. It's our most popular flavor of fresh goat cheese. And then our most iconic cheese, the Humboldt Fog. I don't know if you can see this, but there's a little line down the middle, and that is the ash line that symbolizes the fog that comes in over the bay every day where we are. But it's where the Trinity Forest meets the Pacific Ocean, and it's just an incredibly beautiful part of the country and exceptionally remote. So this piece of cheese I think is really great example of our cheese at its best. You can see, maybe you can and maybe you can't, you can see that the curd here is white and fluffy, and then as you get closer to the edge, it's creamy because the soft white bloomy rind is doing enzymatic action from the outside in and making that super creamy and delicious and delightful. So you can always tell how old Humboldt Fog is when it is young. It is very much like this fluffy center, and then as it ages, you get more and more of this cream line. It depends on how you like your cheese, whether you prefer that cream line or not. I happen to like my cheese running out the door in front of me, so this is perfect to me. It does have a soft white bloomy rind, but as it ages, some of the ash on the outside kind of starts poking through, and that's totally normal. Maybe the rind is not pristine white as it used to be. It has a little bit of gray speckling or even brown speckling, and that's totally normal. Cheese is a living, breathing thing, and it's best that way, frankly. So let's see, what else? Nothing else for me to do here except for have a little cocktail, I think, and try it with the cheese. That was a lot of vodka, delicious. And I think that, the berry flavors is going to go with each one of these cheeses, and pretty much any other cheese that you might have on your board. If you're not doing all Cypress Grove, if you've got some lovely Marieke Gouda or some Seahive, this berry drink is gonna hook you, fix you right up. So good. As this cheese ages, it gets stronger in flavor as well. So if you like them, if you like mild cheeses, you want to look for a cheese that does not have this cream line. And if you like your cheeses that have some oomph to them, get some with that cream line around the edge. And if you finish this cocktail off, this is why it has so much vodka in it, with a little bit of club soda, you get a nice little effervescence that helps clear your palate for the rest of the plate. Much better. And also I put on here some of those rustic bakery lemon shortbread cookies. This cheese plate will take you from dinner through dessert. These are my secret weapon all summer long. I never have to bake a thing. Though I love to bake, I don't like to heat up my house. And if I'm having people over, I don't want to have to fuss. These rustic bakery lemon shortbread cookies are the best with goat cheese. So delightful. They're a perfect foil for the purple haze with a little bit of honey on there, or the Humboldt Fog with a little bit of lemon curd. Just, you know, check out what you've got in your refrigerator. You probably have 85 jars of unfinished condiments. All of those things you can just put on your cheese board and make it really sing. That's it for me.
Wow, fantastic. That is just a beautiful cheese board. And, you know, again, making it simple and fun and easy is the key. You know, I think that, you know, the way that we are, you know, making it as simple and fun, but what a great cocktail. I like the idea that you can add, you can lighten the cocktail up a little bit. You know, if you want to have 2 or 3, you add more of the, you know, more of the flavors in there. So it kind of spreads it out a little bit. I'm working on a ginger cocktail. So the more ginger you put in it, the longer you can drink. So you know, a full level can take you out, but you know, you can extend it out. So that's really cool. You know, I think the diversity of the cheeses that you have also is just so nice. You know, I think what people have to appreciate is that you don't have to spend hours building the board. And, you know, if you trust your friends with a knife in their hand, then, you know, you can let them do all the work, you know, because they can cut pieces themselves. And especially when you're just carving it out like that. That's one of my favorites. I think that's a nice rustic look and very nice board.
And it's so simple, right? You can also just go to your neighborhood cheese shop and ask them to make you a beautiful board, which is even simpler still. But if you would like to do something for yourself that doesn't necessarily have to go on Instagram, it's just simple. Put 3 cheeses and a couple of fruits and some crackers on there, and it's going to be delicious, and people are going to eat it up.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So let's go ahead and move on to Britton and see what he's bringing us today. Britton.
All right. Thank you, Michael. I appreciate it. And thank you, Michelle and the Marieke team for bringing us all sorts of really interesting stuff. So I think we have an appetizer, more of a main, and then I'm bringing up the rear with dessert. And then I guess Michael's going to be here for midnight snack. Okay, so my name is Britton Welsh. I'm with Beehive Cheese. I'm one of the cheese makers there and have been doing that for about 10 years. My family started Beehive Cheese back in 2005. So we had the opportunity out in Utah to do what not a lot of Utahns do, which is craft artisanal cheeses. So today I am bringing you a Rainbow Sangria tequila cocktail, as well as featuring and showcasing our Seahive. So we're going to do that. Then I'm going to teach you guys another trick, which is how to make a salami rosette, which is surprisingly easy and adds a really big bang to your butt for a charcuterie board. So Beehive Cheese, we started in 2005, again, with the idea and the goal of bringing back the artisan creamery to Utah. So my dad was in software, my uncle was in real estate. So of course, the natural thing you do with those resumes is you quit your day jobs and start an artisan cheese company. So being 13 years old at the time, when your parents start an artisan, or really start any company, the kids are press ganged to come do the dishes, sweep, stir the curds. So I gained an appreciation at an early age to really learn hard work. Then in college, I worked at the farmer's market, and that's when I really fell in love with really cheese making and artisan food. So today, everything that we're doing is inspired by kind of the bounty of summer. I took some similar inspiration to Michele in looking at, okay, here in Utah up in the mountains, we have a pretty short summer that's only about 3 or 4 months long. And during that time, we get lambasted with all of these incredible foods. And right now, peaches are on. So I went onto our website and I found a really cool recipe that we posted about 3 weeks back of a kind of fruit-inspired sangria. So I'm going to go ahead and continue talking, but I'm going to show you what I've been working on. So again, my goal in this was finding a really good piece of cheese. So that is our Seahive. So this is our artisan Utah cheddar. And then we take the wheels at day one and rub them in these beautiful rinds. You can kind of see that through the packaging, but on the outside is a crust of crystallized honey and sea salt from dried up Utah lake beds. So we start with the cheese. And then my next goal is everything that I sourced, I wanted to either be local or be something that I could empty out of my fridge. I know we've all been there, that our fridge starts filling up with fruits and vegetables, and we need an outlet for that. And outside of beef stew, I think sangria is probably one of the least remembered things that we can do to empty produce out of our fridge. So in here, Pride Month was 2 months ago, but we'll just, I guess, have a little pride in our heart all the time. So what I did is I layered the colors in. So we've got raspberries in the bottom there. And then here with the oranges, I actually cheated and put in a couple of ice cubes to prop up the oranges. And then it was cool because as we added the liquid at the end, the oranges melted, or the ice melted, just kind of leaving the oranges laminated on the side. And then for the yellowish color, we have lemons and peaches in here. These are fresh peaches from the farmer's market. And then for green, threw in a little fresh garden basil and some blueberries on the top. So then what I did is I created a blend, and you can actually find this recipe on our website, but I added a little bit of white wine and tequila together, which then was poured on the top of the kind of through the fruit. And then I let that sit for about a day. So you're really going to get the fruit infusing into it. So right here, again, it's been infusing for about a day and the flavors are starting to mesh together, just kind of left it in the fridge to soak. So then after that, we got a couple of local ingredients here. So I got some local bitters made here in Utah. These are specifically lime habanero bitters. If you can't find the lime habanero bitters, don't worry about it. Probably any bitters will do. Again, that's just going to kind of bring out a little bit more of the complexity from maybe a sweeter wine that you're using with this. Have a couple chunks of bread, some peaches that I'm showcasing. And then what I wanted to show you guys is the cool part that I was really proud to learn how to do, which is the salami rosette. So the cool thing is it's really easy to do. I'm going to show this to you and it's going to kind of look funny. But here I have just a cup. This is a little Picardi tumbler. What you'll do is you'll get the salami and kind of fold it around the top. So I'll just give you kind of a little demonstration. So you'll get a piece of sliced salami here. So I sliced a bunch of thin slices, and then you'll fold that in half, kind of in half across the top of the Picardi. And then you're going to go and do that again and create a ring around the rim. And then what you'll do, just so they're overlapping, maybe just 1/4 of an inch. Then on the next row, kind of like bricklaying, you'll alternate it. And what that'll do is kind of start making the flower, the rosette, fill out. So now I have all this weird looking meat that's folded across the top of the cup. It looks like some sort of like fantasy football commercial. All right, so then when you've had that, press it really tight around the top of the glass, and then you're going to invert it onto your cheese board. And let's see if I can get that off now. I might press it too tight. Okay, so then get it to release. Kind of meld a little bit. And then you've got, I can hold it up to the camera a little better. Looks kind of like a little salami rosette. And if you do a couple of rows, it fills out. You can kind of do more petals. So then with this cheese board again, I'm going to kind of fill in some of the holes with some cheese, some local fruit. And then last but not least, put a little bit of kind of garnish for the salami. So with that being said, I'm going to take the sangria, pour a little bit in here. A couple blueberries got in there, which is awesome. And then I know what went into this, and it's still early afternoon in Utah, so I'm going to water it down. Maybe a little fruit to garnish the glass. And voila. Cheers. So again, the logic in making this is creating some nice balance. So this Beehive cheese is made with Jersey cow's milk. So Jersey cow's milk, I don't know if you guys know, they're the small brown cows with the beautiful eyelashes. They produce a lot of cream and butter in their milk. So that's a very thick cheese. So having something light like a summer sangria with a club soda is going to, again, help cut through the cream and create a really nice balance. And then as you get the salami and the fresh fruit in there, every bite can be a little bit different, but overall, an incredible kind of summer feast. So thanks, guys. And thanks again, Michael, for hosting all of us. This is a lot of fun. Feature the food.
Thanks, Britton. You do such a great job. I love that book that you used for one of our classes to be able to kind of talk about the different bourbons and other things that you can add in to make different cocktails just by changing the liquor. So that was really cool. Thanks. That was in a previous one, but you know, that's really nice. I like the idea also that you can thin it out, so you know, you can have something in the afternoon as well. On my board, I took one of each of your cheeses. So I have Little Giant, which is a bloomy rind goat cheese. I have Marieke, your natural 6 to 9 month Gouda. And then I have Pour Me a Slice. So the cocktail that I have basically works all the way around. And it is a pretty simple cocktail. It's a southern ginger cocktail. And, you know, start off, add a little bit of ice, about 1.5 ounces of bourbon or more, depending on how your day's going. And this is a ginger liqueur, and you don't need a lot of this. It's pretty powerful for the ginger, but this is really what gives us a nice little kick. And then, of course, adding a little bit of ginger. The beauty of this is that you can put in 1 ounce, 2 ounces, 3 ounces, depending on how much you want to drink. And I have this really cool little bottle opener that I got from, let's see, it is Holland. All right. So, and it's actually in the drawer. You can find this no matter what what shape you're in, you know. That's what I like about it. It works very well that way. So again,
That's why we made them that way.
Exactly. Yeah. So, you know, just 1 ounce or 2. It's still a little early. And then you can choose to shake or not to shake. I'm not going to, but that's all there is to this cocktail. And it works beautifully with each of these cheeses. But if you're thinking about doing a little bit more specific, if like for say that you were just doing the Goudas, I would probably go with the Knob Creek, and this is a smoked maple. The smoked maple and the Gouda are just fabulous. So you don't have to stay with the Maker's Mark, but I prefer that. Now, if you're going with the Beehive, now what I have is Pour Me a Slice, which is infused with Basil Hayden. So I'd switch that out to Basil Hayden. And just the ginger and the Maker's Mark just works beautifully with the Little Giant. It's just absolutely fabulous. It just brings out more of the butter. So that's mine.
It sounds amazing.
Well, thank you. But, you know, again, I'm a big bourbon fan, and, you know, it's close enough to 5 o'clock for me to start happy hour. So I'm fortunate being on the East Coast, being able to do that. So I think it's really interesting, you know, the diversity of the recipes that we got today, but also how easy it is to make those cheese boards. And I think, you know, for me, Laborless Labor Day is putting the cheese out, trusting my friends with a knife, and letting them go at it, and putting out some bourbon. So that's the plan for Labor Day weekend. Pretty easy and should be nice.
Yeah, tell us what time. What time again are we supposed to be there?
Exactly. Saturday, 4:30 on the nose, and we're going to start with cocktails.
Sounds perfect.
Yeah,
Perfect.
yeah, yeah. I envy you for your change of seasons. You know that you know you have a shorter summer. You know where our summer just goes on and on and on. I'm not really complaining about it, but you know when you talk about earlier about your colors, the trees, the leaves are changing color. Let's see, our palm fronds just go brown and die. So that's the color of change that we get. You know, they just die off on you, and then you got to cut them down and all that. But
Yeah, fall in Wisconsin is just a beautiful time of year. We're just at the very start of it, but it does seem like our summer just flew by, and I think it's just a sign that everybody's been really busy, and which are all good things.
yeah, and it's also that you guys are starting to get on the road again, aren't you?
Yeah. So, and that's definitely different than where we were at a year ago. You know, we've actually been on a couple trips. You know, we're out seeing customers again. Unfortunately, some of our shows that we were participating in, Fancy Food, the Florida Food Service show, so it was almost in your area, have been canceled, but I guess everything's within, you know, reason and being, you know, you want to protect your employees. So we'll just keep doing things virtually until we can see them in person.
Well, on the 17th, I'm gonna take the chance and run to Knoxville for a festival, Come to Jesus. And I'm doing this at the Barrel House Cider Company, and I'm gonna have a weekend of cheese and pairings and that. And then end of the month, I get to come down to San Antonio for a little adventure.
Oh, nice.
Alamo Brewing, I'm going to do a little book tour signing and that while I'm there.
Fantastic. I'm so excited for your book.
Thank you.
Yes, we are too.
Thank you. Cheers. All right. Well, like I said, it's always a pleasure having you guys on and you know, sharing a cocktail with you in the afternoon. It's always my pleasure to be able to do that, and I'm so glad that you guys took the time to come in and enjoy you know, each other's cocktails and ours and that.
Thanks so much. Cheers.
Thank you. Cheers,
All right,
everyone.
cheers.
Everybody.
Thank you.
All right, see you guys soon. All right, bye-bye.